Today we will read from a story called Karma Took Him Away from a popular subreddit. This story is amazing. It is heartbreaking, but it's also empowering. Make sure to stick around for the entire story because it gets even better towards the end. I am your host. If you love stories of justice and sweet revenge, stay tuned for new videos every single day. Let's jump into the story. When I was 9 years old, my mom met Jay, the man who would change our lives in ways I couldn't begin to understand. He was a chef from New York, moving into South Philadelphia, a man who seemed ordinary, almost forgettable. But my mom, she was desperate. My dad had died a few years before from the city's rampant drug epidemic, and she wanted someone to fill that void, someone to care for both of us. That someone turned out to be Jay. At first, he seemed harmless. But soon, the cracks began to show. My grandfather noticed the black eyes my mom tried to hide. One day, at a local corner store, he snapped and beat Jay black and blue. For days, Jay was immobilized, nursing his bruises. And I remember the moment with a mix of fear and awe. It felt like justice, though it was messy, violent, and entirely outside the law. Of course, Jay didn't see it that way. He convinced my mom that my grandmother manipulated my grandfather into the attack, that we had to flee South Philly. So we packed everything into a van, me holding my 90-pound Rottweiler in my lap, and moved to Florida. Florida. God, Florida. For 5 long years, it was a dumpster fire of isolation and abuse. My mom endured daily violence, subtle and overt, while I faced mental abuse and the crushing weight of helplessness. I wanted to return to Philly for my great-grandmother's funeral, but Jay forbade it. He told my mom her family didn't like him. They tried to kill him. What nonsense. But the idea stuck. Jay isolated my mom completely. She couldn't go anywhere without me. I was always present, always aware, becoming complicit in my own oppression. Then one day in 2021, my mom left him, and that's when things escalated to something I'll never forget, the night of Halloween. I was out trick-or-treating with a younger friend when chaos erupted back at home. Jay broke into our apartment. He stole my puppy, yes, for a walk, and destroyed our belongings. The absurdity of him caring about a dog while committing crimes wasn't lost on me, but the rage it triggered was real. My mom decided not to call the police at first. Instead, we went to confront him. She carried a knife, just in case, a silent emblem of fear and readiness. When we arrived, Jay was there with another girl. He smirked, the same arrogance that had defined years of torment. My blood boiled. Every nerve in my body screamed to fight, to reclaim control. I didn't hesitate. I hit him. Again and again, my fists fueled by years of anger, frustration, and helplessness. My mind raced. He thinks he owns this house, my family, our lives. He thinks he can hurt us and get away with it. Not today, not ever. In the chaos, my mom stabbed him. It wasn't fatal. The knife barely grazed him, but in that moment, it didn't matter. The point was control, survival, and finally, resistance. By the time the police arrived, my mom had choke marks and bruises, evidence of the fight she endured trying to protect both of us. She was arrested for assault and breaking and entering, a cruel irony that left me fuming. But I didn't panic. I knew the truth. The trial came and went. My mom avoided felony charges, though she remained on probation. We left Florida behind and moved to New Jersey, finally free from Jay's direct influence. But freedom came with a strange mix of triumph and lingering tension. Then in November, I received the news that made me laugh out loud. Jay had killed himself, shot himself in the head, alone, abandoned. His sister confirmed it and even shared his suicide note. The man who had terrorized my family, manipulated my mom, and haunted my childhood was gone. The irony wasn't lost on me. I had indirectly orchestrated this outcome simply by pushing my mom to leave him, by refusing to let him control our lives any longer. Karma, twisted and perfect, had caught up with him. And I didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. Let's discuss this story in our famous three-part structure. In the beginning, we establish the injustice. Jay is introduced as an abusive boyfriend and father figure who dominates and manipulates the narrator, his mother, and their family. The story establishes a clear power dynamic with Jay exploiting his dominance to control those around him. The midpoint reveals the climax of the story. In a confrontation fueled by years of suppressed rage and helplessness, the narrator physically attacks Jay, symbolizing a pivotal shift in power dynamics. The ending exposes the consequences of Jay's actions. His manipulative and abusive behavior ultimately leads to his downfall, both psychologically and in a very dramatic fashion, physically. This story cleverly explores themes of power, control, and the complexities of human behavior. Jay's character is a master manipulator, expertly controlling his victims and exploiting their vulnerabilities. However, the narrative also demonstrates how those trapped in such situations often find their own paths to liberation. Through the protagonist's acts of defiance, the story sends a message. No matter how daunting the challenge, individuals can break free from the shackles of abuse and manipulation. The story is a reminder that true strength lies not in physical power, but in the courage to confront adversity head-on. By sharing these narratives, we pay tribute to the strength of survivors and stand against the injustices inflicted upon them. Now, let's dissect the story's masterful storytelling techniques. The author masterfully builds suspense, keeping readers on edge with each twist and turn. We see this in the escalating tension as the protagonist confronts Jay, culminating in a powerful climax that leaves readers breathless. The story's emotional depth is palpable, drawing readers into the character's experiences and evoking empathy and understanding. Vivid descriptions and sensory details transport readers to the heart of the action, making the experience all the more immersive. The psychological aspects of the story are particularly compelling. The author delves into the minds of the characters, exploring their motivations, fears, and complexities. This adds a layer of realism and invites readers to engage with the characters on a deeper level. Now let's talk about the remarkable character development. Each character is meticulously crafted, exhibiting depth, growth, and relatability. We witness the protagonist's transformation from a victim of circumstance to an agent of change, inspiring readers with their resilience. The antagonist, Jay, is portrayed with chilling accuracy, embodying the traits of a toxic manipulator. And now let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, the story involves violence and disturbing themes. However, it is essential to recognize that these elements serve a purpose. They reflect the harsh realities of domestic abuse and highlight the desperate measures individuals may take to escape such situations. The story does not glorify violence, but rather uses it as a tool to expose the severity of the issues at hand. By confronting these difficult themes, the story encourages dialogue, empathy, and ultimately, positive change. So if you want more captivating stories that blend suspense, social commentary, and psychological insight, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us. And with that, I'll see you in the next story.